Strong week for Nasdaq last week, up 2.85%. And even Dow Jones went up almost 2%, ending the week at 39,476 points, or up 1.97%. The bet into Astria Therapeutics, bought it on Monday for 15.61, and it seemed to be a good choice because already Tuesday it was up more than 7%, actually very close to 8%, but before starting to fall back. The question is, do I still have Astria Therapeutics? Was it sold? Did I make any money? Well, you have to wait till the end of the podcast to get that, and the follow-up in the $1,000 challenge, where I try to grow $1,000 as fast as I can. Currently we are about $2,000. You're listening to the StockInvest.us podcast, trading tips with Jim, and for some, let's hope 20 minutes, maybe not more, I will just give you a few insights into the week ahead of us, and as I said at the end of the podcast, give you the $1,000 challenge. Now, last week, and I mentioned this in last week's podcast, the eyes were at Powell and his speak, and Powell said that the Fed still believe they will maintain 3 interest rates cuts by the end of this year. And that was the one thing that market really loved. Here, that we are still on the pace of interest rates cuts, and market just went on a very, very good strike. As I said, ending the week for Nasdaq up 2.85%. And the question is, will that just continue? Well, it might just be the case. We may be on a roll for 20,000 for Nasdaq. During this week, there will be more economic numbers. First, you may wonder, so why is these interest rates so important for the stock market? Well, it works like this. If you can get safe, secure interest in the bank, you will choose bank over the stock market. When interest rates are very low and you hardly get anything having money in the bank, money starts to flow to stock markets. So that is one of the main reasons why low interest rates are good for the stock market. This week we will learn more about US GDP, the fourth quarter. I think that will be on Thursday and Friday, while markets are being closed for a shortened trading week. It's Easter coming up, and Friday being closed, there will be personal consumer expenditure numbers giving a more insight to inflation. My bet still remains the same, that inflation is more sticky than we think, and I'm not sure that we will see the 3 interest cuts over the final end of the year. Hopefully I will be wrong, but I was not wrong about interest rates in the very beginning when I said they would go sky high, and that they will not be cut as fast as people thought for this year. The expectations last year was, and what was even said by Fed, that they would cut interest rates by 6 times, or 1.5% in total. Now it's adjusted to 0.75%, or 3 cuts at the end of the year. Another big happening last week was, of course, Reddit going IPO. Been long since we had IPOs, and anyone who was lucky to have shares before the IPO day, of course, had a good day, as when the bell rang, the stock price of Reddit just continued upwards in a rapid pace. Many, due to the overdrawing of the IPO, were not able to get in. I know that the Reddit community was able to get shares. If they were lucky, was able to get shares. I think it was for around $1,000 pre-IPO. Now Reddit had a good first day, then starting to fall back, and some interesting news about Reddit is that 2 years ago Reddit was out in the market for money, looking for money, and they got money and they were valued for $10 billion. On this IPO, they raised for a value of 7 billion about, so it was almost 25%, I think, lower evaluation of Reddit now than 2 years ago. You might be a Reddit owner and wondering, so where will Reddit go now? Will it double? Will it triple? What will happen? You can look at Snap and other cases, and you will see how they have gone since their IPO. A lot will be about how the market will move. Will Nasdaq continue upwards? Then you can expect Reddit also to have some sort of nice development, but the market will decide what is the correct price of Reddit. It'll be for sure a different game for Reddit as we move forward. I saw that there will be some quarter results coming up this week, but not much fancy. I think I saw a Royal Caribbean cruise line, but personally I wouldn't go into the cruise industry now. As you know, a few years ago we played cruise and did very well doing so. So these during this week, it is the job numbers on Thursday. There is GDP coming in, and Friday markets will be closed when the most important numbers come in. All in all, looking at the chart where Nasdaq now has broken up of the resistance and is in a terrain with very little resistance, you can and should actually expect markets to continue upwards. Especially Nasdaq has a high chance of continuing upwards. And if you look at the buy and sell signals, we can tell that they have increased a little bit across all the stocks that we analyzed. 33% are now holding buy signals. For Nasdaq, it is up from 27% last week back to 31%, while New York Stock Exchange is up from 38% last week to 43% of all companies on New York Stock Exchange currently hold a buy signal in our system based on technical analysis. And excuse me, you can make a lot of money following buy signals in general. We like to backtrack everything we do, and if you go to stockinvest.us, you can see how the stocks are doing when we first start saying to buy and how it has progressed since. And you have to remember that this is only computer evaluations. It is no human touch in the evaluations of the stock. So there is no bias, there is no nothing. It's just algorithms working the stocks day out, day in, coming up with what they think is the correct evaluation of the stock to buy, to hold, or to sell it. Sometimes it might be wrong, but in most cases it will be right. And you can check back testing for so. London up from 27 to 31% buy signals, and even Frankfurt went up from 34 to 39. Tokyo had a very good week. As you know, that Tokyo for the first time started, or Japan started to raise interest rates from negative territory. Market took that very nicely. Buy signals went up from 47 to 53, currently sitting at 53%. Shares in China fell a little bit from 39 to 23% buy signals. What does all of this mean? Well, it means that currently there is a very nice positive sentiment in the market. They are not overbought. Has to be a little higher. When you start to get 43 on Nasdaq, you're getting very close to where things starts to be a little hot. But these numbers are not hot, except from Tokyo at 53. I consider that quite hot, but there is a reason for these numbers. So the numbers just tells me there's a high chance from the amount of buy signals that the market should have a positive week. But we can be taken by surprise. You never know what will happen. Just have a small thing hitting the news and markets can start to fall. But in my opinion, being wrong about the Taiwan conflict, it's still not merged and it's somewhat underwater yet. I would say that the markets are more stable than they have been in a long time. There is less of these external things that can really crack hard on the market. We know that Macron is pushing for soldiers into Ukraine. If that happens, well, we can expect markets to be the least of our problems. Oil down $1 from last week to $81. Gold up $16 to $2,166 per ounce. Very happy about the gold investment. 10-year Treasury, which we like to follow, fell a little bit, fell by almost 2% last week to 4.22, but still remains high. The 10-year Treasury will tell you what the professional investor thinks about the future interest rates. I promised you, or at least myself, not to do a long podcast. The reason for this is I am a little bit sick, as you might hear, even might see. I don't know for sure yet, have to see the video afterwards. The reason I got a little sick is because during the weekend I was at a metal detecting gathering with the club. And it was a rainy, first day was a rainy day, got very wet, and in the evening went on the beaches looking for Lithuanian gold or amber using infrared flashlight. It was windy, it was raining, and it was cold. That caught me a little bit, but was too interesting, first doing the detecting in the day and then doing amber hunting at night at the beach. It was pitch dark, only using infrared lights, looking for amber. The first time I ever did that, and trying to find amber, not knowing even what it would look like. Did I find any? Yes, I found a few, but not big pieces. But at least now I know what to look for. Such a treasure, such a nice thing. I like. That is my passion. Things like looking for gold, looking for old stuff with a metal detector, and now looking for amber. Saturday continued with yet another day. This time it was much better weather, and the detecting, we was detecting several fields. I was lucky to find a silver mark from 1875, almost 150 years old, in very nice condition. Might even post some pictures alongside some nice buttons, some coins, etc., but nothing of real value. And that being said, so the reason why I feel a little sick today is simply because it was such a long weekend outside, and got a little wet, got a little cold, and despite being in the end of March, it's still not the best temperatures, but they are rising. It was 2-3 degrees on Friday. On Saturday got a little bit better at 6-7, but here in Lithuania we expect very nice temperatures in just a week. Now ending March, and this being the last week in March. So far, over must be 8 months, I think I've been having that $1,000 challenge. I have doubled the money once, but I feel I'm behind the target of doing this much faster. Market's been quite okay, not bad at all during this time. Been plenty of opportunities to do much better than I have, but at least we have a double. And last week I went into Astria Therapeutics, ATXS. I bought ATX at 1561. I saw it was dumping down maybe 1540ish, but it's not the high liquidity stock, so it was moving a little bit up and down in quite big ticks. I would say it was maybe 10-20 cents between buy and sell at any given time. Anyway, I got ATX. I bought it like I usually do. It was some 20-30 minutes after markets open. I didn't have time to wait anymore. I just bought up for the amount that I had available, some $2,200. No, the day after ATX started to push upwards, was up at 1680 or 7.57%, almost 8%. I didn't have a stop loss on purpose because Powell was going to speak and I didn't want it to be caught by surprise. Now, the following days afterwards, it started to fall back on Friday, ending at 1513. And as you might have guessed already, I still sit in Astria Therapeutics. But the bet is down 3.07% so far. So the bet into Astria Therapeutics was bought at 1561, currently sitting it at 1513, or down 3%. I still think Astria Therapeutics is a good choice. Last week was a very good, as I said, market for Nasdaq was up almost 3%, while I was down 3%. That happens, it's just how it is. And these stocks in this challenge, which I buy, are high risk stocks. And I was going for a stock that already has been pumped up quite much in the expectation that it can continue to pump upwards with good, in my opinion, support below. Still sit in Astria Therapeutics. Will do so. I will adjust my stop loss later today. I'm not sure exactly where I will put it. I have to do a little evaluate that, then set the proper stop loss. Usually I do put a trailing stop loss, and if I had done that last when it pushed up to 1680, I would have been with a slight profit. But as I said, and I said before in a few podcasts back, how I deal with stop losses when there is a major event news coming. I either tend to widen my stop loss very, very much to expect for huge movements during can be just a few minutes. We will see, will I be able to rescoop, get back on the track, and put Astria Therapeutics in to profits? Well, it's not up to me, that's up to the market. I have a strong belief that it should. But right now there is more interesting stocks than Astria. But again, I will only buy and sell as long as you can follow, meaning that I will only buy on Mondays, and I will tell you before buying so you can follow everything. Might even post a clip of last week's buy order so you can see the order itself. 17 minutes into the podcast, I told you what I think about the markets. High chance of markets going up this week. Give a little insight to the $1,000 challenge, and as I said, currently sitting in Astria Therapeutics with a loss last week of 3%. We'll see if we get back on track, as I want to get to the $4,000 mark, the next double, where we have 4 times the 1,000. I wanted to grow much more, but so far I'm not on a rapid speed, I would say. Somewhat slow. Maybe should increase the risk a little bit. When we get to $4,000, I will split into 2. That will make things a little bit easier. It's high risk going only one stock at a time. Easter is here. Next Monday is a day off, meaning that there will be no podcast next Monday. I will use the chance to have a day off after having this podcast now for 5 years. How many times have I missed the Monday? I think you can count it on one hand only. So I will dedicate myself a day off next Monday. There will not be any podcast. And if you are a trader, I think that you should use Easter as well. Get away from trading, rewire your brain, get some energy, do a little other stuff than just sit totally into the market, which is and always will be very volatile, meaning that your emotions will go up and down. The more emotional you are about stock trading, the higher chance there is that you will occur losses instead of gains. Do not trade by emotions, trade by pure cold calculating. No, anything left to say? I had something on my mind, but not popping up. Well, again, a lot of new tools at stockinvest.us. You should use the chance to go in and check. We have increased the amount of AI credits, and you can now have more reports, added AI reports for dividend, for fundamentals, What we do is we feed the AI with all the information that we have, and some of this information only we have is special information from us. We feed this into AI to generate a very readable article, make it much easier for you to understand what is going on, because we aim to do exactly that, make what is ever complex into more easy to understand, and the AI is perfect in that sense. It can handle a lot of data and break it down into readable format. We continue to do that with all other things, improving everything. If you haven't tried, you should do it. Just go to Stock Invest, find whatever ticker you want, and you will see AI analysis, and you can try it. For some of the questions on Reddit, I know I wasn't too active on Reddit, on Discord last week. I will see if I can dedicate more time to it. What you do not see is a lot of focus ongoing on different things. I am back working on Shark Trader, the automatic trading booth. Lots of small issues needing to be solved, but slowly we are getting there. Until next week, just have a super duper week. I hope you will enjoy the Easter. Do it with friends, do it with family if you have the chance to do so. If not, try to find a good book, good movie, something that will make you happy. I will be back not next week, in 2 weeks. Until then, bye.
Welcome to StockInvest.US Stock Analysis. We remind you that trading involves a high risk of losing money, and that you should speak with a financial advisor before buying or selling any securities. You should not base your investment decision upon StockInvest.US. By using the information you agree and are held liable for your own investment decisions.